This is the annual meeting?
I jumped the gun. Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Otero?
Here.
Commissioner Ovando is not here. Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Colwell is not here. Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Ready? Switch. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice? Notice of the meeting was given in the following manner. Notice of the meeting was transmitted to the Home News Tribune. Said notice of the meeting and a copy of the agenda were filed in the office of City Hall, City Clerk on July 23rd, 2017. And said notice of the meeting and a copy of the agenda were prominently posted on the announcement board in the lobby of City Hall, 78 Bayard Street, New Brunswick, New Jersey, at least 48 hours prior to convey to this meeting.
Commissioners, as you know, tonight is the annual election of officers. As such, usually you have council run this portion of the meeting in order to choose the two positions of chairperson and vice chairperson. So what I'd like to do first is open up the nominations for the position of chairman or chairperson.
I'm sorry.
Any nominees for chairperson?
Move a motion to select Mr. Corwell, who is looking pending his approval.
Any? Person second.
Commissioner Jones?
Any other nominations? With no other nominations heard, we would close the nominations. Now, at this point, given that Commissioner Caldwell is not here in order to ask for his interest in the position, we would recommend that this is tabled then until the following meeting when Mr. Caldwell is here. Can I have a motion then? We need a motion at first and second in order to table.
I think a motion, accept. Second.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Giorgiani made a motion? And Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Second?
Yeah.
That's for table, right?
Yes.
Should I poll?
Yes, we should have a vote.
So I'm just polling now on the tabling resolution. Commissioner Jones?
I say yes.
Commissioner Otero?
I say yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Okay, so that's tabled.
So now I will open the nominations for the position of vice chair.
Motion for Anthony, Vice Chair.
Are you interested in that position?
Yes.
Any other nominees? Now close the nomination for vice
Sorry,
chair.
need a second.
Or did we have a second?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll second it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, John.
No problem. Right.
With that, we close the nominations for vice chair. With the, with the interest shown by the commissioner, I think now we can have a vote on that.
So voting on the vice chair nomination, Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And I guess it's still Chairman?
Okay.
Chairman Walde? You can tell the right Chairman Walde?
At this point.
You're right, okay. Just want to make sure. Okay, motion passes.
Yes, so Chairman Walde, you will continue in the position then for an additional month, pending then the vote by the board at the next meeting when Mr. Caldwell's available.
Thank you. Any other comment?
You would need a motion to close the
Close
annual meeting?
the session, yeah, the end. Make a motion to close, adjourn.
Second.
Special meeting session.
Ready?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Okay. This is for the
Regular meeting.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovando? Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And Commissioner Walde?
Yes.
Okay. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public notice?
Notice of the meeting was given in the following manner. Notice of the meeting was transmitted to Homebush Tribune. Said notice of the meeting, copy of the agenda were filed in the office of City Clerk, July 24, 2017. And said notice of the meeting and a copy of the agenda were prominently posted on the announcement board in the lobby of City Hall, 78 Bayard Street, New Brunswick, New Jersey, at least 48 hours prior to the convening of this meeting.
Okay. All right, since we have so many resolutions, we'll pass minutes,
Okay?
okay?
So you want me to go right to 17?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is, we're going to go through resolution 17, 18, and 28 first.
Thank you very much. Council, should I read the resolution first, or?
Yeah, no, I would just.
Okay. Resolution 17 is a resolution acting as redevelopment authority, resolution of the Housing Authority of the City of New Brunswick, acting as City of New Brunswick Redevelopment Agency, approving the pilot transfer county grant and theater component grant agreement. You need a motion and a
Yeah,
second
motion.
before comment.
Make a motion to accept.
Second. Okay.
This is a resolution to approve an agreement, and the purpose of it is in connection with the financing of the theaters. The way the theaters are financed in part is there's a financial agreement with the developer and with the city, where they're paying in lieu tax payment. The city is selling bonds, redevelopment bonds of about $17 million. That's going to be given to the theater to help construct the theater. The taxes that the apartments are going to pay, which are around $700,000 a year, are going to use to repay those bonds. Under the law, 5% of those taxes goes to the county. It's about $35,000. The counties agreed that they would give a grant back to the housing authority to give it back to the developer to help to pay part of the debt service. So the purpose of this is to get the money back from the county to help to pay the debt service. So that's why it's the pilot agreement and approval of the grant agreement. We're just here to, I'm not sure they'll send a check, they're gonna send it just to the city, but we're here just to maybe implement this. As the redevelopment is, you can give grants to a redeveloper, and the redeveloper is obligated to give that back to the city. So that's resolution number 17.
Question I have. So, they will sell bond for 17 million.
About 17.
Okay. And then the rent coming in, $700,000 will be paying back.
No, that's the taxes.
Oh, I'm sorry, the
Those
tax.
taxes coming in
Yeah,
would be used to pay the bulk of the debt service.
okay.
The city may keep some of it, but the bulk is for the debt service.
And the county's tax, the
The county and the
35,000 will
statute-
come back?
The county gets 5% of it,
Okay,
so that's about $35,000.
okay.
So this agreement says they're gonna give it back, but they're giving it to you because you're the redevelopment agency and you can give grants.
Okay.
And you're gonna give a grant to the developer, who's gonna give it to the city under the agreement, and the city's gonna use it to pay that $35,000 to pay the debt service.
That's for the term of the mortgage.
For the term of the bonds.
Repayment,
Term of the bonds,
Yeah, the loan.
you know, the term of the bonds for that,
Okay,
to help with the construction of the theaters.
okay. Any other question?
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 18, Chair?
Yeah.
Resolution number 18 is a resolution approving the ground lease and purchase and sale agreement with the City of New Brunswick, ground sublease and purchase and sale agreement with Cultural Center Redevelopment Associates Urban Renewal LLC, and the assignment and assumption of ground lease and sublease with the City of New Brunswick and Cultural Center Redevelopment Associates Urban Renewal LLC.
Now, this is
I'm sorry,
because,
Chair, you need an action in a
Yeah,
second.
yeah. I'll second.
Thank you.
this resolution deals with the fact that for various financing and redevelopment law purposes, the housing authority has to be involved, although you'll have no obligations. But what's happening is that, first, the cultural center owns the land, so there's a couple lots they're gonna consolidate. Then they're gonna file what's called a deed of apportionment. They're gonna create 5 different estates. Now, just picture the land's here, and these estates are gonna be in the ear. One's gonna be for the theaters, one's gonna be for the offices, which is on a couple levels above, one's gonna be for the apartments. The next building, the air rights goes to the parking authority for the garage, and the valet for the valet. So because of that, because the city owning it, we have to get ultimately the property, the city's still gonna own the land, but we have to get all these estates to the different people. And because you're the redevelopment agency, and you can give certain agreements, you can make agreements with redevelopers, you don't even know can, you're now kind of in the middle of this. But the agreements say that you have no obligations, no financial responsibility. So what's happening is that first, the cultural center is gonna consolidate the lots and create the 5 estates. The apartment estate, the theater estate, the parking estate, the ballet estate, and the office estate. Now, there's 2 different buildings, although there's some common footings. The parking and ballets in one building, the theater, the offices, and the apartments are in the second building. After those are created, they're gonna deed the land to the city. The city's then gonna enter into a lease, a purchase and sale agreement with the housing authority, with you. And they're gonna convey the parking and the ballet estate, the housing authority, and the county estate, the theater estate, and the apartment estate also. So the 2 buildings, you're gonna get the estates. You're then gonna sublease these to the redeveloper, that's secure. Then you're gonna enter into what's called an assignment and assumption agreement, where the redeveloper is gonna assume all of your responsibilities, except for some conveyance of property, because you have to keep that because you're the redeveloping agency. So really, when that's done, the city's the leaseor, and the redeveloper is the lessee, and you're kind of out of it, except for the conveyance. After that, the developer enters into development agreements with the parking authority, the ballet, with the resident, well, they're part of the residential developer, and the county. So they construct each of those elements. When they're done, they can then convey the improvements and the air rights to the county, the parking authority, the ballet to the ballet, and the apartments to the apartment developer, who's part of the redeveloper. That's Penrose, but they'll get that. So these 5 estates will then be done. The theater remainder is like a remainder, that stays with Secure, and then there'll be other people coming into Secure, such as Rutgers and other entities. The authority has no real active role in the construction and the financing. You're really here to expedite this as the redevelopment agency. Now, I put this out in an outline for everybody because you read the resolution, it's enough that need to give you a headache or put you to sleep. It goes through all the different leases that are required, and this is required, like I said, for financing and for redevelopment and conveyance reasons and for tax reasons.
When is the conveyance by the housing authority? When does it happen?
Well, what will happen is that after the cultural center consolidates the deeds, does a deed of apportionment, creates the estates, they'll give it to the city, then the city instantaneously will enter into a ground lease with the housing authority, and then you'll enter into, that same day, a sublease with the developer and this assignment and assumption agreement, which really takes you out of it. It leaves just the city and the redeveloper. So that all will happen at the same time. And the only responsibility you'll have then is a conveyance responsibility after the developer has completed all the construction of all the units.
We don't have any financial responsibilities on that? Yeah.
None whatsoever. So I tried to outline this for you so that it make it a little bit easier than looking at the resolution and going through all the documents.
Is there any financial benefit to the housing authority? I mean, a one-time payment or?
Well, only in the redevelopment agreement,
In the agreement?
not in these documents. Because you're kind of like a pass-through,
Oh,
and you're doing this to expedite the project, because it's as you know, it's a $170 million project. It's very complex with, multiple different kinds of financing.
sorry. Commissioner Jones? It's been a long day. Commissioner Otero? Commissioner Ovando? Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Commissioner Walden?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Resolution number 28 is a resolution approving assignment, if necessary, during construction of the apartment estate in the Cultural Center project to either a wholly owned entity of the redeveloper or an entity which has identical ownership.
Motion?
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Under the redevelopment agreement, the redeveloper Secure was only Defcon, but they have the right to add a residential development. They made it understanding with Penrose, as your Penrose has built multiple residential projects here in New Brunswick, they're gonna be the residential developer. So Penrose is now, they've given us notice, Penrose is the residential developer. Penrose is getting financing, and the bank they're getting the financing from is saying, well, we think we want a special entity during the construction. So during the construction, they may create, they don't know yet, but the closing is scheduled for the middle of August, so we want to get this all done now. They don't know whether they're going to need to create this or not, but if they are, they will have an entity that will either be wholly owned by Defco and Penrose, or else it'll be an individual entity of which they own all the shares. So the purpose of this resolution is just to permit that during the construction period, so that they can get their financing to construct the apartments.
Is the residential units, are they financed by the board or they have to, Penrose has to go out to a private?
Penrose is going out to a private
Oh,
bank, I think, to get their financing.
oh, okay.
And that's why the bank has indicated they're doing their due diligence, and a couple of days ago said, look, we may want a separate entity that's in existence just during construction. Once the construction's over, that entity will disappear, and ultimately then, you as the housing authority will be conveying, after it gets constructed, the apartments to the Penrose entity, who will run the apartments.
So the bond covers just the theater?
The bonds for the theater, the
Oh,
bond we
okay.
talked about, only for the theater.
Oh, okay. I know I've seen fences. When do, if everything goes well, when do you expect construction to start?
Demolition is started, and construction hopefully will be in September. Garrett Blitz. Demolition is started last week, and hopefully construction will begin in September.
Oh, okay. Without the sale, without the bond sale? Are they going?
Everything's gonna close August 15th.
Oh, okay.
That's the schedule right now for them.
Okay.
That's why we're here tonight, because we need everything done so we can close it on August, they can close it on August 15th.
Oh,
So that's the anticipation, that all the bonds will close then, and that the construction will start. Well, the demolition is going on right now.
It is,
yeah, how are you paying for demolition now?
We're covering the costs until
Until the bonds, okay.
So I think that the George Street is going first, or they demolish first. So then
there's more progress right now on George Street. They're both coming down at the same time.
I drove by the.
Oh, okay, I know this. Thanks.
It's the city's scape is changing, when you drive on Eastern Avenue, you see that big hole, it's,
Oh,
look how ferry used to be, it's really different.
any other questions?
Roll call.
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero? Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Want to do any other, or just,
Oh, actually, it's 23.
that could be part of the
Yeah,
regular?
yeah,
Okay. So 19?
yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, I really appreciate it, thank you very much.
Resolution 19 is a resolution ratifying, authorizing, and approving payment of bills for the month of May 2017.
So moved.
I'm sorry, who seconded? Questions?
Questions? All right.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero? Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Mr. Walde?
Yes.
Sorry, motion passes 5-0. Resolution number 20 is a resolution ratifying, authorizing, and approving the write-offs of certain rents in a total amount of $31,665.54 deemed to be uncollectible by staff and personnel of the Housing Authority of the City of New Brunswick.
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
You need a second.
Second.
Oh.
Can you
Shall I discuss? Sure. As you know, annually, the Housing Authority must recognize any rents for audit, for year-end and audit purposes. This does not mean we have stopped collecting the items. In fact, as you can see on the list, these tenants are people who, some may have been deceased, or some may have actually moved out with a balance. So we continue to attempt to collect those amounts, but for accounting purposes, we have to recognize these.
How was this compared to like last year?
It's roughly about the same. You know, we collect over 1.2 million in rent average, so 31,000 for uncollectible is
Yeah, I remember.
pretty good.
No, yeah, I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, it's substantially down from some of our previous years, but again, a lot of that depends on, you know, if people expire, the number of people that expire during a certain year, or the number of, you know, people that leave that may have balances at the time.
I remember at one point it was in the 70s and then.
It was up,
40s,
it was up
yeah,
there.
yeah,
It was really, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Chair.
Okay.
Okay.
21.
Resolution 21 is a resolution ratifying, authorizing, and approving the State of New Jersey budget for all programs and operations FYE 6/30/18.
So moved.
Second.
So as you know, we don't necessarily have a federal budget yet, and we were holding this, hoping from the last meeting, but we do need a budget, so we're gonna go ahead and approve this with the anticipation that we will be coming back to you, I would assume in November, because the federal budget ends September 30th. So my hope is that by then we'll either have a continuing resolution with future funding or some other sort of omnibus budget that takes us through 2017 year, which would take us through, our fiscal year would end on June 30th of 18. But these amounts are pretty much projections, and they're very conservatively based. We're anticipating some additional reductions in our subsidy, but again, technically, we only are funded through September 30th at this point. This is a requirement by the state, we have to submit it, so we didn't feel comfortable in waiting any longer. We were hoping that we would have something, but we simply
You
don't.
submitted to this year, right?
Correct, this goes to the DCA, correct.
Any questions?
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Ovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Chair?
Yes.
Okay, resolution 22 is a resolution approving the late submission of the Housing Authority of the City of New Brunswick's budget.
Make a motion.
Second.
Again, we spoke about this at the last meeting too. So this actually recognizes the fact that we didn't have the numbers and the amounts from HUD at the time of the original submission, even though technically we don't have some of those other numbers still, we still were required by the state to submit a budget, so that's what we're doing.
So how do you estimate your budget? You know, when
We
you-
estimate, we do a proration basically of what we think the federal government will fund our amounts, and typically there's a proration where the federal government will say, we're gonna give you 100%, but we're gonna prorate it to 85, so you'll get 85 cents on the dollar. So we do a conservative proration based on that for the subsidies. The rent amounts are pretty stable because they are basically 30% of individuals' income, so we're able to use that amount. And then the capital fund budget, again, is a proration. So they're estimates based on what industry standards have said that they believe may or may not happen. As you may know, we haven't had an actual real federal budget in over 8 years, or 7 years now. So they've been continuing resolutions 3 to 6 months in intermediate phases. So it's very hard to operate a program without an annual amount, but we still have to submit the budget and submit the items there. So really, these are estimates. But this year, this is gonna be a lot different. In the past, we've been able to work within the framework of the budgets we've passed.
Yeah.
That's why I say we may be back. We've been relatively conservative in this budget, but we have no idea what's gonna happen with the transition with the new president or anything else. So, you know, if we get a substantial reduction, we have to come back because our budget amount we need to basically adjust the budget accordingly.
So the 85% is 85% of last year's allocation?
No, the operating subsidy.
No,
So, yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah, it's a reduction of about 400,000 on the operating side. You know, and
How
that's-
much was the reduction last year? About?
Well, there were 3 continuing resolutions,
Yeah.
so they averaged about 80 to 40, between 40 and 80, so it wasn't that much. But again, we're trying to be as conservative as we can, given the framework of the draft budget. There was a draft budget that was floated, as you may know, which didn't necessarily see the light of day. But again, the numbers in there were right around that amount. So we basically figured worst case scenario, we needed to have a budget that was right around that amount.
All right.
Ready? Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Robondo?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Okay.
23.
23 is a resolution accepting proposals and authorizing contract to provide legal services in conjunction with redevelopment matters taken by the Housing Authority of the City of New Brunswick with Wilentz, Goldman, Spitzer Esquires.
So moved.
So as you know, we typically go out and annually procure actions. This is one of those annual procurements.
How many applicants do
That's a
we
good
have?
question. Martino?
Redevelopment legal?
Yeah.
One.
We have one response.
Just one response?
Just one response. It's publicly advertised 2 times.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Sorry.
Okay.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero? Is it that?
Yeah.
Commissioner Otero?
Yeah.
Commissioner Robondo?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Okay.
24.
Resolution 24 is a resolution approving the contract for annual auditing services to Hymanson, Parnes, and Giampolo for the fiscal year ending 6/30/17.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Same thing, similarly, this is an annual service that we go out and procure. It's advertised twice, and this was the highest scoring respondent.
Any questions?
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Robondo?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
Can't see that far. Commissioner Walden?
Yes.
Did I get everyone? Motion passes 5-0. Resolution number 25 is a resolution authorizing and approving the payment of bills for the month of June 2017.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero?
Yes.
Commissioner Robondo?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 26 is a resolution approving acceptance of Commissioner Kevin Jones to the Professional Development Training Program from September 14, 2017 through September 16, 2017.
Chair. Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to abstain from that one. Do I abstain from that one?
No, you can,
I can vote on it?
you don't have problem.
Well, no.
Yeah.
I'll make
You can choose to abstain if you want. I mean, it's up to the chair to accept the abstention. Council, I don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to the chair
Oh,
to accept or not.
That's fine. We have,
You accept?
yeah.
You still need a move and a second.
make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
So I just start with Otero, right? Commissioner Otero?
Accept.
Commissioner Robondo?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
So that's 4-0. Right. Resolution 27 is a resolution adopting and approving the submission of the Section 8 Management Assessment Program report for FY 6/30/17.
Make a motion to accept.
As you know, these are annual submission reports. They're based on the data entries and the action items over the last 12 months. We are asking for the board's authorization to move forward with the submission, and then from that, we would get back the assessment. So once that happens, we share it with the board.
Just for the new commissioner, can you go over what kind of data we receive?
Sure, so the system captures actual data that's entered for the Section 8 program and does an assessment based on the data entries and the time frame for the entire program. And it's like, it's done on an annual basis, and it's a HUD-generated response back. Basically, they require it to be done every year, and that the board recognize the action for the submission, but you'll receive in the next 30 to 60 days back a response from them based on the actual data that's entered into the HUD system.
The data which is entered, what is it? What kind of data?
It's Everything.
Everything.
Yeah, it's income verification reports, it's timeliness of recertification, it's everything.
Is it a sample or you have to put it?
No, it's every month's grade averaged over the entire 12-month period for every single voucher. So it's a pretty comprehensive assessment of the program. Right? Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Otero? Commissioner Rovando?
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani?
Yes.
And Chair?
Yes.
Okay. My report will stand. I would only like to add, you're going to be getting an email about, or notification about our National Night Out event. Please let me know if you're going to attend. We'll actually have a small event down at Hope Manor Riverside and a larger event up here. As soon as I find out the schedule, once a little more information, I'll get it out. It is next week.
August 1st.
Yeah.
August 1st?
Tuesday. August Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, August 1st. Tuesday, August 1st.
Starts like 5 o'clock.
The caravan starts at
5.
5.
5, but it's usually downtown. They don't get up to us. Yeah, they don't get up to us at, I'm looking at Councilwoman. I don't think they get up to us between 6:30 and 7 sometimes, depending on the volume of stops they have. But as soon as I find out what the time frame is, then I'll let you know.
Usually they show up.
That's
late
exactly right.
anyway.
Eventually they get here.
Yeah,
That's exactly
right.
Other than that, my report is set.
Right, any other questions? Questions from the public? Yes, ma'am.
Rebecca Escobar, Housing Liaison to the City Council. At the last couple of meetings, we had inquired by Mr. Cradaville about some Oprah records that information that he had requested. So can you give me an update on where does he stand and where are we with the request that he submitted?
3 minutes? Sure, Chair. We have been continuing to respond to the requests, both to Mr. Cradaville's attorney and to him directly. I believe as of today, and Mr. Cradaville will probably confirm that he has had responses back for all his requested Oprah items. There are still items that we're working on to respond to, but I believe there was some confusion whether he was represented by counsel at that time or not, so one went to his counsel. That has now been handed over to him, so he sees that it was responded to, and the documents are still forthcoming. There are multiple requests for multiple items, so and they'll continue to be responded to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, just to add, that request is taking so much of our staff time. We have limited number of staff people doing this, and so
No,
it's
and I do
becoming an issue.
understand.
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
understand that,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also we have to make sure that we follow the guidelines.
No, we understand. We have to provide that information, but at the same time, I just want the public to understand that we have, because of budget cuts and all that, we don't have that many staff people, and now we're spending so much time for it, so it affects the overall administration of the housing authority.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you and good evening, members of the board, members of the audience. Just to start with a little suggestion, I think that it would make sense to open the floor to the public before you adopt resolutions and let the folks go home who are here, the experts that you retained. So that's the way the esteemed city council does it. They open the floor before they actually vote. I think I brought this up before. I think it would make more sense because I did have some questions that now perhaps can't be answered about those resolutions you passed already. But I'll just jump right into it. I'll try to be quick tonight. I do have copies of the New Brunswick Today newspaper. You guys are on the cover. You probably won't be thrilled with the coverage, but I'd encourage you to read it. I use the word dysfunctional to describe the authority.
You
It's
always
not,
do that, so it's no,
okay, you're not surprised by it.
I'm not surprised.
But it's not a word I use lightly, and the main reason that that's my
5
view.
minutes, by the way.
Okay, I'll be quick.
Okay.
The main reason that I have that view is because of my experience with Oprah requests with the authority. So since the councilwoman, thank you for your questions, thank you for bringing this up, I do want to outline sort of what happened here. So on June 21st, I made a request for 12 items under the Open Public Records Act. I did not receive any response until today. There was some confusion over it, and I'll, I guess, let's agree to put that in the past. But, I sent Mr. Rotobrun a follow-up on July 12th, just very polite, please confirm you received it. Polite reminder, there's a 7-day time frame, no response. A week later, July 19th, wrote a longer, perhaps less polite email expressing disappointment. Some of you were copied on it. And then on the 20th, a city councilwoman, not the one who's here today, but another councilwoman, emailed Mr. Rotobrun, asked for a very polite, respectful, asked for an update. 21st, she wrote again. She said, second request, please advise. 24th, third request. She's saying, does anybody know if Mr. Rotobrun is still employed? If so, is it his responsibility to respond to Oprah requests? She said she's patiently waiting. The nature of Oprah requests, this is a direct quote, are a vital form of transparency between government and the public. And she makes it very clear that this demands statutory compliance within the letter of the law. And she gave her opinion that as of now, pending an explanation, the NBHA is in violation of the Oprah law. And here's the request. Before I do that, I just have 4 quick questions. About how many people does the authority try to evict every month?
Let's stay on the open.
There's a comment,
Let's stay on the open request.
comment that we can answer.
It's related to the Oprah request.
No, he can always go to his office and that's, they
Okay, so
you get a response for that.
okay, it's related.
Well, I think that's one of the actual items.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking. So,
Yeah,
approximately how many?
no, if you have already requested that through Oprah, then,
You have it.
No,
No,
you have to
actually, I
wait.
don't.
No, you have to wait until they give you the information.
I was denied.
No, actually, I think we asked that item, Mr. Creditor, if you look at the response you had, I think we asked for a more specific clarification on that item. I don't believe.
Yeah, I asked for copies of the first pages of all landlord-tenant complaints filed since January 1st.
And what was my response?
The NBHA request that Mr.
Thank you.
Crackville
We didn't
narrow
deny it.
down the scope of this request so as to avoid a substantial disruption of agency operations.
The
How many
reason-
complaints do you file in landlord-tenant court every 6 months?
So again, it wasn't denied. We asked for you to specify down the request for if you're looking for a certain month, if you're looking for a certain item, because we file multiple documents a month. So any given month, it could be over 10, it could be up to 20, it could be, depending on a heavy month, it could be even more. So there's a
So if we're
lot.
talking 6 months, it's 60 pages. I just asked for the first page of each one, because I don't need the whole
But we,
thing.
again, we're not a research organization. We ask if you have a specific item. If there's something you want, we'd be happy to document to get you. Oprah's a document request.
I want to get some idea of how many people you try to evict every month.
So if you can narrow that down.
You can either just answer it.
If you're saying you
Yeah,
can't, if
what
you
he
can't
said,
narrow
you
it
can
down,
narrow
you
it.
can respond back and we can get you a number. But we didn't deny your request. We said we just want you to try to narrow it down.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
well,
all.
it's a pretty
That's all.
reasonable request, I think.
No, as much as possible.
I'd like to
when-
find out who you're evicting and how often you
Oh,
do it,
wait.
that's all.
Well, they didn't say they can't give you the information, but you have to be specific. And
Copies of the first pages of all landlord-tenant complaints filed by NBHA since January 1st.
And we didn't deny you. We just asked if you could narrow it down. If there's a specific item you're looking for, that would be fine. If not, then just respond back to the Oprah and say, I can't narrow it down. That's all. We're not denying.
I'll try to find a
But we
way.
didn't deny you. We didn't, that's what I wanted.
I'll try to find a way. I'll try to find a way to work
But
it out.
I think, it's depending on the month, it really does depend on the month. It's anywhere from 10, it can go up to 20 or more, or it can be less. It really depends on the month.
10 to 20. Well, approximately.
Well, I mean,
It's
yeah, there may be
approximate.
some months with 30, there may be some months with less.
Thank you, that's helpful. Because I don't want to inundate anybody with requests here, I just want to get the information. It sometimes has proven difficult to get. So can you ask your attorney if he's familiar with the recent New Jersey Supreme Court decision, Path v. Galloway?
okay, the next moment.
Can you ask your attorney if he's familiar with the New Jersey Supreme Court decision, Path v. Galloway?
If you have that question, go through the housing authority director so that he can present it to the law. Okay.
So you won't ask him?
It's not a law exam,
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I was denied request number 5 and 6 in this recent request, which were for logs of the metadata for Mr. Clark's emails. be advised, I filed identical requests for these two items, 5 and 6, with the New Brunswick Parking Authority, and they've already provided the logs. But you guys say
They might
that
have
this
so
is not a
many.
request for identifiable government records, as the NBHA, Mr. Clark, do not make, maintain, keep on file, or receive in the course of his official business any logs containing metadata. Moreover, the Oprah law specifically excludes from the definition of a government record, quote, administrative or technical information regarding.
By the way, you're
software
killing your
hardware.
comment time, so do you have
5
another
minutes, right?
comment?
You're over your time, Mr. Cradville.
Are you familiar with the case?
Mr. Cradville, I would just say, if you can respond to any Oprah requests, and the Housing Authority will be happy to respond to you. As far as our responses, they stand. I didn't write them myself, but obviously I'm going to defend what the responses are that the Housing Authority provided, and certainly if you have a question about that and you provide that, then we'll then respond to that. So
Okay, I will
that's all
respond.
I can indicate at this point. So.
Okay, just.
And I will tell you that, there's a number of different agencies across the state, as you know. Every agency has the right to respond accordingly as they feel they are fit to respond. So I'm not saying the parking authority was wrong in responding to that, but I am saying that every agency's in a different position, so.
Well, respectfully, if you're paying the attorneys to represent the housing authority, they should know about Path B Galloway. It's a recent decision, so I can forgive them if they're not unaware of it.
We
didn't
did not
say-
say we didn't know the
say
decision. We're
I know,
just
you didn't
saying-
answer, so I'm just saying, they need to familiarize themselves with that decision,
But
because that's the decision that my request is based on.
By the way,
It's
by
public
the way.
information that must be provided.
No, by the
Under
way,
yes, authorities have the power to respond in their own ways. They're bound by the decisions of the New Jersey Supreme Court. This is a decision that is final, binding decision. You have to provide this information, and I was denied. Like I said, I just got it today, so I will respond in writing, but I'm responding because I think I'm trying to explain why I'm viewing the authority as dysfunctional, and part of it is that you're denying public information.
that's based on your analysis, okay?
Yeah, yeah, and it's also in black and white right here that you denied this.
No, the dysfunction, that the housing authority is dysfunctional. You just told us that you're denied something that you're not denied. Now you tell us that we're dysfunctional.
The word denied is right, it's here, so.
No, you just said that you're denied, certain information that you asked for, you're not denied. He responded to you. So,
Responded without the information.
excuse me?
Responded without giving the information. So.
Anyway, you have 2 minutes now.
Thanks. There were 30-day extensions that were requested for a number of things, and in the past, it's taken me the better part of a year to obtain certain documents, or to even obtain a denial for certain documents. So I just want to understand, there's an application to get parking permits here in this complex. I have a copy, I got it through the Oprah law. And this was one of the 3 items out of my 12 that actually was provided. Simple document. Can you please tell me, how is it possible for someone to obtain a Schwartz-Robeson parking permit without filling out one of these forms?
This is your comment. If you have specific questions, you can address it to the housing authority. Any other
I'm
comments?
addressing it to you
No,
because
I'm not going to answer.
a
This is
vehicle
a
was
comment
provided,
period.
permit number 365. I requested it.
We say that it's a comment period, it's not a question and answer period.
Okay.
If you have any questions on specific items, you have to address it to the executive.
And I believe I brought this up before. Somebody needs to look into how permit number 0365 was provided to the son of the
Remember
property
that
manager.
number, but I'm not going to answer it.
You're not going to look into it?
No,
Are you?
We have several times, we have told you, if you want to have those issues addressed, go to the executive director
I'm
and
sorry,
you
do
will
you have
address it.
a license plate that you're saying this was provided?
It's the one for Andrea Ito's
But
son.
what's the license plate you're saying?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I've given it to you before. It's the.
Can you email me the license plate that
Of
this?
course, of course.
Thank you very much.
You have a minute.
Okay. And so I want to understand how this person got a parking permit to park here in Schwartz-Robeson, because I filed a request to get the,
He just answered you.
no, he
Give him
didn't.
the plate number and,
I already filed a request last October, and the answer was, you are denied because the document cannot be found, does not exist, right? Is that fair to
I
say?
think I can answer a little bit of that question. Mr. Campbell, just because there's a permit in the window doesn't mean it was given to that vehicle.
Okay.
So that's why I'm asking you to give me, and you asked for a copy of the application for that tag. And what I responded to was, we don't have that application. If you give me a vehicle VIN number, we'll be able to determine if the vehicle matches the tag. You can take a tag off one vehicle and improperly put it on another one, which is what I'm trying to
But
find
how
out
do you
if
get the
that
tag in
happens.
the first place is
It
what I
may
want.
be
How do you get the tag in the first
I'm
place?
sorry,
without
it might be an
feeling
older
it's
tag,
okay?
it may not have necessarily been, but that, if you can give me the license plate, I'd be happy to look into it.
Okay.
So
The
the
comment
plate number,
period
that's
is
all I need.
over. If you have any specific questions, you can address it to.
I can tell the board is in a hurry.
I'm sorry, plate number and make a model of the car.
You've been meeting for almost 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
And that's really impressive considering you couldn't even get a meeting together last month. And Mr. Chair, respectfully, you left the last meeting before the public comment portion.
Thank you.
So,
What is your concern?
Why-
President, thank you
Why is
for
your
your
concern about
comments.
that? I can leave anytime.
you can, you just get up and walk away.
Yeah, if you have something personal, I can leave anytime. You can't question that.
I can. I'm questioning it right now. Why did you leave?
You don't have to tell me anything.
I don't have to tell you everything. There's the quote. Okay. Well, God bless us. Look forward to having a new chairman.
I'm sorry, there's a motion from
Yeah,
Commissioner
okay.
Ovando.
Hold on. Yeah,
I just want to say a comment. I mean, you said your paper there, not to keep going with this, but it's dysfunctional, the housing authority. It's pretty general. It reminds me of one of those papers that I would, a headline like that I would see when I'm at ShopRite, picking up my groceries. What do they call those? The Star, the Inquirer. But I mean, other than that, it just gets people to look at what you're talking about. I understand what you're doing and, with the Oprah law and stuff, but really, I personally feel that it's not dysfunctional, the housing authority. There's a lot of good things that go on here for a lot of people, to help a lot of people. And other people here will know about the scholarship funds and other things that we had in the process that we've done. And I think that's just like a thing to get people to look at it.
Did you read the article?
I think it's good. I may take a paper at the end. I will take a paper
Please
at
read
the
the article
end.
because
Just leave
it's
it
more
there.
than just Oprah. The website is sorely out of date.
It's my opinion, I'm just giving my opinion, you gave your opinion earlier, I'm saying.
As you know, meetings have had to be canceled because of lack of quorum, there's,
If a meeting's canceled, a meeting's canceled like a forum, you can't do what you have to do, right? You can't conduct the business, just having people are people, right?
I'm saying,
You stub your toe, you might not make it here one day, I don't know. I'm just saying.
city council doesn't get canceled for a lack of quorum,
Well,
Chairman, you have a
it's a whole
motion.
different thing.
So,
I just wanted to give my opinion, I didn't really like the way.
second, duly noted, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Otero.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ovando.
Yes.
Commissioner Giorgiani.
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Chair, I need you after the meeting. Can I see you for 2 seconds? I just want to find a little bit more about night out with you, if you have some information.
So you got 2
And the
seconds.
meeting's
Is that
over.